Om. 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 Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Gungurubhyo Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Gananam Tvam Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinmannodipissida sadhanam. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidanandamurtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Nilalambaya Tejase. Om Yasyatmabhudasya Guruprasadat Aham Vimuktosmi Samsara Bandhat Sarvopadashtu Shivanandamurte Mridvangrayukmam Pranadosmi Nityam Dayasindhum Deenabandhum Shastrarthabodhana Patum Maskarindra Varam Naumi Sri Chidananda Sadgurum. Om Praninam Dukkha Hartaru Jnanado Bhuvana Muktaye Shivananda Chidananda Ashraye Guru Sattamo. Om Shantatmanam Pranadasulabham Siddha Vidya Prabhavam Bhaswadrupam Sugunaniliyam Dvastakarmadivargam Prajnavruddham Najasamadrisham Taradam Tyagivadyam Sakshat Isham Mama Guruvatam Shivanandam Natosmi. Shivanandam Natosmi. Om Shukamukha Munivaryaha Kirtayitwadibhaktyam Paramasukapadahetum Santatam Tvachcharitram Paramapadamavapuhu Manasam me astu saktam Tava Shubhacharitabde Kirtane Vishwanatha. Tava Shubhacharitabde Kirtane Vishwanatha. Om. So we have been going through the work of Appayadikshata, the Atmarpana Stuti of Appayadikshata. The speciality of this Stuti is, see, all of us are seekers, spiritual seekers. So in the sadhana, one of the sadhana, what Gurudev recommends is introspection. So whether we are leading a spiritual life, somebody cannot certify, even the Guru will not know whether you are leading a spiritual life or not. Whether there is progress in your spiritual pursuit or not cannot be found out even by Gurus. They will not care to find out what is going on in you. So one is introspection. Gurudev has given importance to introspection to find out whether I am really seeking and whether I am progressing in that path. So each one will have their own methodology, their own technique to find out whether we are seeking, whether we are real seekers, whether we are practicing spirituality. So each one has their own technique. Some of the techniques mentioned in the Shastras are what type of thoughts we entertain, what thoughts come to in your mind. Suppose when you are sitting quiet, some thought comes in our mind. What type of thought comes in your mind? Whether God comes in your mind. When you are idling, whether thought of God comes into your mind. So the japa sadhana is mainly for that, so that even without our knowledge, the tongue will repeat that, the mind will repeat that. So the saints, the Saivite saints, in the southern India there were Saivite saints, 63 saints. They are called this Nayanmar. So one of those person he says, even if I forget to tell your name, my tongue will not forget. Automatically it will keep on repeating your name. So one such introspection is whether when we are sitting quiet, whether the tongue repeats God's name, whether the mind entertains thought of spiritual thoughts and God thoughts, or whether it is going outward thinking about worldly things. The third one is to find out what type of thoughts that come in the swapna. What type of thoughts we have in the dream state. Another one is what thought comes in our mind when we get up first. The moment you get up, what thought comes in your mind? So Gurudev says, these are all, Gurudev indirectly said that. Start the day with God. If it naturally doesn't come, you start the day with God and end the day with God. So what thought comes in the mind? Naturally. The other one is, suppose if I go into a coma, if anesthesia is given to me, and when I come out of anesthesia, what I will speak about. After surgery, anesthesia is given, and then you come out of the anesthesia. Before you go to anesthesia, they will ask you to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And when you come out, what thought comes? And the other one is, in case if we go mad, what will be our thought? So suppose if I become mad, the last moment of life, whether I will be able to remember, whether I will go into a coma, whether sometimes the amnesia will come, forgetfulness will come. So if we become mad, what will happen? So Dikshidhar wanted to find out. Appa Dikshidhar was ancestor of Gurudev, a very great scholar, and a great scholar, the greatest scholars. And so these things I have told you about his scholarship and other things I have told in the earlier lectures, in the introductory lectures. So he thought, if I become mad, what thought will come into my mind? So he induced madness in him by administering certain medicines. And then later on he told his disciples later on, after so much period of time you administer this medicine, antidote, so that I will become normal. In between that period, whatever I have told, you gather and let me know. You record and let me know. So it was all recorded. That was the Atmarpana Stuti. So when he became mad, he chanted 50 slokas, 50 mantras, not mantras, slokas, on Shiva. So they are called in the Atmarpana Stuti. We have been going through that. Few lectures I gave, and after, in between this Navratra came. So that was discontinued, and I do not know how long it will be. So as long as Vishwanatha wants it, I will continue. So now, some of the slokas we have seen. Now in this sloka, he makes a request to Bhagavan that I should take refuge at your lotus feet. In the Bhakti Sampradaya, they call it as Sharanagati, or it is called Prapatti. Prapatti means surrender to God, surrender to God. We say every day, I surrender to God, Bhagavan, everything is, I surrender to God. What is that surrender? So that about that surrender, there are certain lakshanas. These are the indications of total surrender. Prapatti indication, Sharanagati indication. These things are there, then you have really taken Sharanagati. Otherwise, Sharanagati is not there, you are only telling about I am Sharanagata Dhinartha Paritrana Padayane. Whether you are really taken Sharanagati, mother. So that there are certain lakshanas are there. So those lakshanas he is going to handle. And as an introduction, as a prelude to that, he says in this shloka, Ullanjajñam udupati kala chutame vishwavandya Tyaktaachara pashvadadhunam muktalajjascharami evam nanavita bhavadadiprapta dirghaparada klesham bhutim katamahamrite tvatprasadat tareyam. He says here, see how I will cross over this dukkha sagara, the ocean of the mundane ocean. Klesham bhutim katamaham rite tvatprasadat tareyam. Katamaham rite tvatprasadat tareyam. Without your help, without your blessings, how it will be possible for me, hey Bhagavan, to cross over this samsara sagara? Then why he says like this? Because I introspected my life. I just looked into my own nature, my life, my lifestyle, how I am leading this life. Then I find it is very difficult for me to reach your lotus feet unless you really help me. So he says, Ullangyajñam udupati kala chudate vishwavandya tyaktaachara pashvadadhunam muktalajjascharami evam nanavida bhavadadiprapta dirghaparada klesham bhotim katamahamrite tvatprasadat tareyam. Hey Vishwavandya, O adorable Lord of mercy and love. Gurudev starts, O adorable Lord. Vishwavandya means the one who is adorable, O adorable Lord. O adorable Lord, Ullanjakyam Udupati Kala Chuda. Udupati Kala Chuda means Chandrasekhara. Bhagavan Vishwanatha is having the moon crescent on his head. So Chandrasekhara, his another name is Vishwanatha's another name is Chandrasekhara. Hey Chandrasekhara Bhagavan, I always disobey your instructions. The Shastra says you do this, I do just opposite. You don't do these wrong things. Papa, you don't do wrong things. Lead a good life, be a good person. Don't tell lie, don't do this, that and all these things. So many do's and don'ts are there. Whatever you should not do, I do it. Whatever they say that the Shastras prohibit not to do, all those things I am doing. And my lifestyle is like that. I wander here. Pashuvadadhuna muktalajjascharami. My life is not very different from the life of an animal. For a quadruped. All the quadrupeds, animals also, they also sleep, they also eat, they also procreate. I also do the same thing only. Nothing else. So my life is not much different from the life of an animal. So I am leading the life like this. Evam nanavida bhavadadiprapta dirghaparataha. So like that, because all through my life I have been doing prohibitory actions and leading life like an animal. The total aparadas, total wrong things I have done, the sins I have committed is so much. How is it possible for me to get over this samsara sagara and without your help? So you have to protect me, he says. So it is without your support, without your helping hand, unless you yourself lift me up from this, it is not possible for me. So one of the prapatti lakshana, sharanagata lakshana is total surrender to God. You have to take care of me. And total faith that you will protect me. Goptrutva varanam. Yakshishyati iti vishwasaha. He will protect me. I cannot come out of all these things. My mind is a filthy mind. I cannot escape from this type of life because my life is like that. I am not able to control. So you have to take care of me like that. He makes a Because this is applicable to all of us. Don't think that Apayadikshadar was above all these things. But we belong to this category. So, the Prapatti Shastra, the Sharanagati Shastra, what is Sharanagati? Ultimately, Sharanagati is this. Anukulasya sankalpaha, pratikulasya varjanam, rekshishyati vishwataha, goptrutva varanam tatha, atmanikshepe, karpanye, shadanga sharanagati. The Sharanagati has 6 angas, 6 limbs. One is anukulasya sankalpaha, that which is conducive for Sharanagati, that which is conducive to develop devotion to God, that which is suitable to continue with the devotion of God, that alone has to be accepted. That which is conducive for that. And pratikulasya varjanam, that which is against, that which will take me to the wrong direction, that which will not help me to be devoted to God, that which will not help me to surrender, take shelter at the Lord's feet. Those two have to be avoided. And then, rakshishyati vishwasa, total faith on God. He will protect me. Absolute faith actually. He will protect me. Rakshishyati vishwasa. Goptrutva varanam. So he is my protector. So you accept him as your protector and have faith in him. Then place yourself at his feet. Atmanikshepaha. Karpanye. I am Dina. I am meek. I am a weak fellow. I cannot do anything. I am my pettiness, my smallness. I am so small I can't do anything. I am so weak and meek. This feeling should be there. These 6 are called the Shadangas of the Sharanagati. So here, he says in this particular sloka, Rite Tvatprasadat Kleshambodim Katavahamrite Tvatprasadat Tarejam. Without your help, how will I cross? Your help is much needed, so I take refuge in you. Total faith in him and total surrender in him. Then, some of the slokas I will skip. 50 I will not be able to cover. So in the next sloka he says, Sarvam kshettum prabhavati janas samsati praptamagaha chetashvasa prasavasamaye tvatpadabje nidhayam tasmin kale yati mama mano nada doshatrayartam prajnahinam padagara bhaved tatkatham me gateta. So then he thinks, so the Shastra says that in the last moment of your life, you should be able to think God. Janmalabha parapumsa ante narayana smriti. So last moment of our life, we should be able to think God, then all sins will be washed away. So he thinks about that. Whether I will be able to fix my mind on God in the last moment of my life. When at the fag end of our life, whether I will be able to behold him. So there he says, Sarvam ksheptum prabhavati janas samsati praptamagaha chetashvasa prasamasamaye tvadbadabje nidhayam tasmin kale yadi mama mano natha doshatrayartam prajnahinam pudagara bhavet tatkatham me gateta. So this is Shvasa prasamasamaye. Shvasa prasamasamaye means when the breath ceases to function, there is no more breathing. Prasama means ending. When the breath ceases, at that time, if one is able to behold the God in his mind, then all the sins will be washed away and he will attain moksha. Like that, the Shastra speaks about it, and in the Kathagas, when they speak about Ajamalopakhyaana, they will keep on quoting these slokas. In the last moment of life, if anybody can remember God, then he is freed. All right? I will remember him in the last moment of life. Until then, I can do all wrong things. That's also possible. So in Bhagavad Gita says, Namocharana mahatmyam hadehe paschadaputrakaha ajamilopi yeneva murtyapashada muchyata. In the last Namocharana mahatmyam, by remembering the greatness, the glory of remembering God's name, you have seen now, Ajamila is a person, Ajamilopi yeneva murtyapashada muchyata. When the Yama came and put his noose on him, he was relieved of that by just chanting one name, Narayana. So Narayana is one name is enough. It will relieve you from all the papas you have done. It is Ajamala is an example. Then there also it is mentioned, even you need not think about that Narayana, you can think about any other Narayana also, it is okay. Sanketyam parihasyam va stobam helanameva va vaikunthanamagrahanam ashesha dukkhaharam viduhu. Sanketyam, some joke, for that sake, if you say the name of Narayana, or parihasya, you joke, or somebody, some stoba, something you say, or for indicating something you say, whatever be, whichever be your intent on saying the name of Narayana Bhagavan's Narayana's name or Shiva's name or mother's name. So, Ashesha Agaharam Viduhu, it will remove all the papas. So this is Kathakars, many times they say. And there are also certain stories also. Some people have, in a short period of time, they have redeemed of all the sins they have made and purified themselves and attained God's feet. So one such story is, one man, he is 90 years old. He lived a very loose life. And one day he was taking bath. In those days in India, in the villages, they used to take bath in the river or sometimes in a pond. And nearby a temple, there will be always the pond or tank. And they take bath and go to the temple. So one river he was taking bath and another one of his friend was also there. So he was also taking bath. So he was cutting jokes with him the early morning. That fellow is a very pious person and also an astrologer. He told him, what is this? You are so old, advanced age. Even now you are doing all these things. Why don't you stop all these things? Turn your mind to God, he said. What is there? I can do it later also. No, there is not much time, he said. How much time left, he said. He asked. Not much time. How much you tell me, he said. Not much time. Whether I have time to wipe the water, dry myself with the cloth. No, you don't have, he said. The death is imminent. Then he said, okay. Then suddenly he turned his mind to God. Aptartena khatim prasannamagarot autana padischichu muhurtat kadvangaha saptahena nrupapajikshit muhurtat kadvangaha abdhartena khatim prasannamagarot Uttanapada's son Dhruva, in 6 months, by chanting Bhagavan's name in 6 months, he attained, he could have darshan of God. Parikshit attained moksha, liberation in 7 days. Kadvanga in 1 hour. Whatever left to me, life is left to me. With that time, I want to please you, my God, he said. Navadi prayo vidannavyate sheshayusha toshaye. Hey Bhagavan, that is what is left over, this life here. With that I please you, he said. And he prostrated, he attained moksha, they say. It's a story. So the last moment he could dedicate the whole of his being to God actually. So whether that will be possible for everyone. So Appayadikshita says, that may not be possible for me. Although the Shastra says, in the last moment of your life, if you can remember God, then that will purify you and you will be free of all the sins and you will attain God's feet. That is very true. But whether it is possible for me to do it, for many people it is not possible. Why? He says, Sarvam cheptum prabhavati janas samsruti praptamagaha chetas shwasa prasamasamaye tvatpadabje nidhayam tasmin kale tvai mama manonatha doshatrayartam prajnahinam putakarabhavid tatkatham me gatedha. Hey Bhagavan, this doshatraya will be there. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. In the last moment of our life, we are under the grip of so many disorders, so many diseases. And at that time, when I am undergoing the pain of this disease, now in the modern days, the doctors have put all the tubes here, through the nose, through the mouth, through every pore of your cells, body. When these things are going on, even our own people I have seen, they initially want to go to the hospital. After having gone there, when the doctors are like the Yamakinkaras, I think no doctor is here, I think. And they prick you, put you on tubes and other thing everywhere, and meter will be there, and they will be discussing, he is sinking and all these things, you are hearing all these things. So, sometimes they say, you remove all these tubes, allow me to die peacefully. And some of the sadhus have also told that I should not be taken to any hospital. Let me, after my death, the Yamakinkaras do anything, but not these Kinkaras. So, at the last moment of life, when this Tapatraya will be there, this Vata, Pitta, Kapha will be there, all these diseases are there, my mind will be elsewhere. Whether I will be able to think about you at that time, whether I will be thinking about the pains and seeing all these things, so how come whether it will be possible for me to think about you because of the pain that I will be subjected at that time. So, this Tasmin Kale Yati Mama Manonasa Doshatrayartham Prajnahinam Pudakara, that even the thought will not be there, mind will not function, the intellect will not function. All this body will be in the stage of coma, or there will be so much pain, people. At that time, whether I will be able to think about you, so it may not be possible. So now itself you have to see that, guarantee that this, to help me out of this problem. Then he continues that. So what will be my condition at that time? So although this Janmalabha Parappam Samante Narayana Smriti, whether Narayana Smriti will be possible when this pain is there and the Tapatraya are there, Doshatraya are there, and when I am in that bed, whether I will be able to do that. So that he thinks about it. And then he also says, what will be the condition at that time? The Janmalabha Parappam Samante Narayana Smriti, Ajamala happened, somehow it happened. It will not happen to, it has never happened to anybody other than Ajamala also. So we can take him as an excuse to do all wrong things. So Apajishwar again says now, Pranotkranti Vyatikaradalan Sandhibadde Sharire Premavesha Prasaramitakat Premavesham Prasan Amitak Krantide Bandhuvargem Antaprajnam Api Shiva Bhajan Antarayiranantehi Aviddoham Toikatamimam Arpayishyami Buddhim Imam Buddhim Katam Arpayishyami. That Buddhi, that mind has to settle in Bhagavan. How is it possible, Bhagavan, in that last moment of life? Because that prana utkranti samaya, when the last breath, when you are about to breathe the last breath, then at that time the prana is moving from all the joints actually. So in the Upanishad there is an example is there. One example is given in the Upanishad. Now all our sense organs are functioning. I am able to speak, you are able to hear. The hands and legs are moving, the eyes are moving. All are functioning. All these different functions. You are able to eat. The food is swallowed, it is being digested. And we stand, we walk, we run. And we smell, we hear. All these sense organs, these jnanendriyas, karmendriyas are all functioning. All these functions will come to a standstill when the prana refuses to function. So there is an interesting story in the Upanishad. Once in this organization, so many fellows are here, different departments. The general secretary, the treasurer, the Annachetra fellow, the receptionist. Each one thinks that I am the most important here. Without me, nothing will happen. The Annachetra man thinks, I am only giving food. Because of that, all these people are here. If I don't give food, who will be here? Then the reception says, I only admitted everybody. Likewise, in this organization also, the eye, the ear, the nose, each one started fighting. Who is most important fellow here? The eye said, I am the most important. If I don't see the food, how will you eat? The hand says, if I don't pick up and put it into your mouth, how will you eat? Then each fellow started fighting like this. So who is the most important in this organization? So they went to Brahma and asked him, who is most important? The Brahma doesn't want to involve in this. So he said, yes, everyone is important, but like that he was not giving any answer. So then Brahma said, all right, you take a holiday, you go on tour for some time. 1 month you go on tour and come back, he said. So the eye went away. I went away for 1 month and came back. When he came back, the system is okay. How you managed? I managed like a blind person. So I am not very important. So the ear went away. So the ear went away for 1 month and came back. How you managed like a deaf person? Then one by one, the leg was not there, managed like a person without legs. So each instrument went away for 1 month holiday, went to South India, everywhere and came back. Nothing happened. So then finally Prana said, all right, now I will go on tour for 1 month. So when the Prana started moving, then an example is given actually. The racehorse. The racehorse, horses never sleep, they don't lie down actually. When horses lie down, it is going to die actually. So horses will always stand. So their legs will be tied, the pegs will be driven on the ground and it will be tied with a rope. All the 4 legs will be tied with a small rope to a pegs driven. So the horse will be like that. So the jockey will come and jump over this horse and give a kick on its belly. So the horse will gallop. It will lift its leg and with left hand it will start running. When it starts running, all the pegs, it will pull the pegs and the pegs will also go with that horses. Some of you might have seen in certain films, you can see this very well. Ben-Hur, in that Ben-Hur it will see that the horses are going along with the pegs also. So likewise when this breath takes away from the body, then it will pull away the prana from all the limbs. No limbs will function. None of the limbs will function. The leg will not move. The hand will not move. No instrument will move. Then how to think of God? Then he says, Pranotkranti Vyadikaradala Sandibhande Sharire Prema Vesha Prasarada Amidakranti De Bandhuvarge. When the prana is moving and in all the junctions, the air from all the junctions is being pulled out. And also around you all relatives, the son, daughter, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, uncle, nephew, cousins are all standing and all talking to you. Are you able to remember me? Then somebody will ask you, where are your bank accounts? What is the PIN number? All these things they will ask. I will return the... Like that they will be asking these questions. Anta prajna amabhishiva bhajan antarayir anantaihi. And my prajna, the brain function is also not there. Hey Bhagavan, it will not be there. But antarayehi anantaihi. Ananta antarayaha. Antarayaha means impediments. So many impediments are there. Because of those things, I will not be able to think about anything. So many problems are there at that time. So many impediments are there. So my prana is moving, and so none of these limbs I'm able to move about. No instrument here is functioning. And these people are standing around me and talking, and I'm hearing about those things also. Some will also, emotionally attached people will be there. You will be touched upon by their love. Some other things will also be there. And also, these kleshas in the body, dukkha in the body will also be there. All these things will be there at that time. How I will be able to aviddoham tvai katamimam arpayishyami buddhim. At that time, how can I think about you, Bhagavan? It is not at all possible unless you help me now. So it is Goptritva Varanam actually. Bhagavan, you are my only refuge. You are the only thing I can depend upon to help me. So absolute faith and absolute surrender actually. So Apadishna, when he is mad, when his brain is not functioning, so the thoughts were like that actually. Unless such a type of thoughts come in our mind, a total surrender to God, a total faith in Him. Nothing else in this world can make us happy. Nothing else will fulfill us. The security, no security is possible here. He is the only security. He is the only insurance. God is my insurance. God is my security. He is my want is only that. No, any other thing will not make you happy. People have all those things. But there is no peace. Shanti is not possible. Shanti is your Nija Swarupa. That is possible only if the mind is devoid of all these worldly things and filled totally with God. So all other exercises for this only. If that is not achieved, these exercises are just only exercises. So Apadishna says like this. The other slokas, God willing, we will see it on the next day. Shukamukha Munivaryaha Kirtayitva Adibhaktya Paramasukapadahetum Santatam Taccharitram Paramavadamavapuhu Manasamme Astu Saktam Tava Shubhacharitabde Kirtane Vishwanatha Tava Shubhacharitabde Kirtane Vishwanatha Om